Okay, we'll call Public Works and Planning Committee to order. I'll loan Brad give us a word.
Sure. Let's pray. Dear Lord, thank you again for a wonderful day. Thank you for the week, and we're thankful for coming out of the Thanksgiving season, Lord, of all the blessings that you've given us, not just during this time of Thanksgiving, but throughout the year, and we owe that all to you. Ask that you be with each one of the members of the committee that are present tonight, Lord. Help us to be able to have an honest dialogue and be able to honor you with our words, our actions, and our deeds. I ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, first on there be approved minutes for the last meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, building codes.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we have a report for November from Building Code Activities. We issued a total of 166 building permits. Fees taken in for permits was $38,389. Plumbing fees was $5,575. Gas permit fees was $1,075 for a total collected $45,039. On the back shows our November this year with 35 single families compared to last year at 37. Our total single families for this year is 527. Last year's total is 513, so we're ahead of last year about 14 single families, and we have one more month to go. Our total building permits issued this year has been 2,265. The next report is our property maintenance inspections. November's inspections totaled 56. BZA cases and conditional usage was 5. 41 signs picked up or permitted, for a total of 46 in that category. 11 new cases in November and 24 closed cases. On the next report is our collection for the development tax. Building codes took in $566,250. Planning department took in $30,000 for a total of $596,250. Our cumulative total for the fiscal year is $1,989,000. Our collections down below that show that Murfreesboro City had the largest collection jurisdiction, and I think they did about 312 apartments in one location in Murfreesboro City, so that brought our collections up in Murfreesboro this time.
Do you know what those are?
That's off the Avenue.
Victory, is it?
Yeah, I think that's off the Avenue.
Off the
Which is an
Avenue.
overcrowd. Blackman schools again.
Yep.
There's really a lot of apartments going out that area. That's my building codes department report, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody got any questions?
Motion to approve it.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, tonight I'd like to introduce the committee to our adoptions for our building codes. And I have to pass these around right quick. On your first page, it shows the codes that we're considering adopting. These are codes that we've been using for years. As a reference, we have adopted the building codes and residential codes for years, and the others by reference from those main building codes. The family of codes is international, which they produce a new building code every 3 years. We are under the 2006 right now, and we have to stay current with the state of Tennessee's ordinances by 7 years. So when we're adopted by 2014 or so, we're before that 2015 code, and that'll keep us in compliance with the state on our adoptions. These codes are very familiar to us. We've used them, like I say, for many years now, and we would like to adopt this family of codes, which consists of the building, the residential, the mechanical, plumbing, fuel, gas, property maintenance, fire code, energy conservation code, and the accessibility code, ANSI 117.1 from the International Accessibility Code.
Those bottom two, is that the last time they were updated? Should there be a 2012 on those, or have they not done that yet?
Well, the reason that we want to adopt the 2009 in those classifications, I will get to that in our amendments. And our amendments, by adopting these codes, it does allow us to do the amendments.
Okay.
So what we would like to do tonight is just show you the resolution, and each section has that code referenced in it to adopt. The first section of your resolution shows the International Building Codes 2012, and then section 2 shows the Residential Code 2012. So it goes on for our different sections to adopt those individual codes in the resolution. The amendments are with each section that we intend to adopt. I'll be glad to go over those one by one, or whatever we need to do in the future. By state law, also, we had to put a copy of every one of these books in the clerk's office for 90 days before we can adopt the resolution. So we can't adopt the resolution until hopefully March. And we're looking at the enforcement by at least May the 1st of 2014. The copies are available to anyone that would like to look at them down at the clerk's office, and of course in the Building Codes Department. These amendments are start with Public Works and then go to the County Commission if y'all so desire. Our amendments has been gone over by several other jurisdictions. We basically took a lot of these from the city of Chattanooga and talked with many other directors and jurisdictions that already have adopted codes. And we have met with the Tennessee Codes Officials Association in those meetings with other jurisdictions that have already adopted. We are meeting as Rutherford County Codes Officials Association. We have an organization that is recognized by the International Code Council as a chapter of the International Building Codes, and we meet once a month with this jurisdictions in Rutherford County and surrounding areas. Our jurisdiction has been meeting, and Laverne, Eagleville, Smyrna, Murfreesboro City, and Rutherford County are going to adopt hopefully at just about the same time. Metro Davidson County, I got word tonight in a meeting that I was at with the city at 5 o'clock tonight, that Metro Davidson County is looking at the same adoption, basically real close to ours. That they've been in meetings with us, with the Metro and the state on that. So that gives the suppliers, the developers, and the contractors an ability to go from one county to another or whatever, and be very familiar with what's being adopted, and be as close as possible for our jurisdiction. These amendments do match some of our needs here in Rutherford County and surrounding areas to be able to stay in compliance with codes, but yet still make it manageable for our local contractors. So tonight, I guess I'm just asking you to consider it, go over each section if I need to. I've got some code books tonight, but if we want to just kind of start on it next meeting, and I can bring each code book and go over each amendment if we need to do that. And we had a stakeholders meeting tonight with the city of Murfreesboro. There was about 45 people that showed up, so they had a good crowd tonight. Had plumbers, they had mechanical, interested developers and contractors. So we had a big variety tonight that was able to go through the new changes and things with the city. So we're all on board with it in Rutherford County. We will continue to have our classes with our contractors and things of that nature about the upcoming changes in the codes. Going back to your recognizing some of them is still 2009, the Energy Code has really strict requirements in it to where we feel like if we stay with the 2009 right now, it'll still keep us in compliance with state laws, but yet it will give the industry time to possibly change some of those codes in the 2015, because the 2012 is just so strict. I mean, it puts insulation at R49 in our attics here in Rutherford County, and we're at R38 now. So it's just a big difference in our energy conservation code. So
It also, in the 2012 International Energy Code, it's more stringent than the 2009. One thing in there is talks about the blower testing, which is a little more expensive to do. In the 2009, it doesn't have that. So there are some, and he's right, the state's got the 2006 adopted now, so with the 2009, we would still be in compliance with state law.
Right. So just look it over. If you have any questions, you can call me at the office or whatever. Or other than that, Mr. Chairman, I guess we'll just try to start review. We've got 90 days to review before a vote, so take into consideration. Thank you.
His report. We're good.
It's all in here.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave.
Solid waste, landfill.
Good evening. How are y'all?
Good.
Good. I'll start with the landfill report. That's the one that should be to your first page. Landfill's running about as good as it has been in quite some time. We've pumped just a little less than 220,000 gallons of leachate since we started taking it to the city of Murfreesboro. You can see the city of Murfreesboro tipping fees waived. That's kind of a trade-off we've been doing with them. They've been bringing their street department trucks, street sweepers out there and dumping. So that's the reason you see that little bit of an increase. But I'm sure that's a very fair trade for us. Still don't have the permit for the sediment pond to be constructed, but Johnny and I both have been to the erosion sediment control class, and we're both class 1 inspectors, so we're ready for that. Once that process starts, we can inspect it and check the water levels, the rain level gauges and temperatures and all that. So we're in place and we're ready to go. Now we're hoping we don't get the permit until spring.
Yeah, right.
You want to move on?
But the state does still come out and check.
Yes.
Make
Now,
sure.
normally they come every month,
Right.
and they didn't come the month of November to inspect. We're not required to come, but quarterly. But ever since I've been here, they've come at least once a month, but they didn't come in the month of November, and that's the reason you don't have a inspection report. But I really expect to see them pretty soon. You ready to go on to the convenience center? Or anybody have
Anybody got
any?
any more questions? Go ahead.
On the convenience center, we're trying something new. We've got a cooking oil collection. We've got 3 centers that we're collecting cooking oil, trying to see how that works out. Have really been opposed to it because of the potential mess, people spilling it and creating a problem. The same inspector that inspects the landfill inspects those convenience centers. So if we have a problem there with a mess, then we're going to have a problem with the state. So that's a big concern of mine. And the other concern is odor. So right now we've got the Weekly Lane, the Rock Crusher, and the Walter Hill convenience centers with those collection points. So we've kind of covered 3 points of the county with the major population area. So if we don't have any issue with it between now and the end of January, then we'll continue that. Right now we're not receiving any revenue for it because we're just on a 2-month trial. After January, if it works out, we can go on a yearly thing and actually get paid 3 cents a pound for it. The container, if you've seen them, it's about a 120-gallon container. It won't be but about $15 worth of revenue, but it's still a little bit of revenue. So that's just something we're trying there. And then, of course, Christmas is coming, so we're going to be closed at the convenience centers Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the 23rd, 24th, 25th. Normally we're closed on Thursday, but we're going to be open that Thursday after Christmas. And then we'll be closed New Year's Day. And then that's the only closings that we'll have. The Haley Road unmanned site, that Monday afternoon, we'll move all those containers behind the fence and actually close it up. With us being gone 2 days, it's a potential mess if we leave the containers out. Any questions on the convenience center?
Got any questions?
How are your schools doing? I know
We're still struggling with that program. It's better than it was last year, trying to think of positive things. We're looking at different ways to evaluate it. Everything that we do is based on weight, and we don't have scales on the truck. We don't want to put scales on the truck because they're expensive and they're hard to maintain. So if you're a school that had 4 trash containers going 3 times a week, which we have a lot of schools that were doing that, you converted one of those trash containers to a recycle container. Now you have 3 trash, 1 recycle. That gives you a 25% reduction, 25% value for recycle. But what we've been doing is doing waste audits and going in and looking at each container and seeing how full it is. And a lot of the containers aren't full, so what we're doing is backing into the total weight of the day versus how many yards was picked up that day of recycle, how many yards of trash, what did that weigh, breaking it down to find out how many pounds per yard we have, and then getting the recycle rate that way by weight, because that's what the state really looks at. That's what we're measured on. So that school, the one that we've done, they were trying to apply for an award, so we were helping them show their numbers. That 25% recycle rate by volume on the waste audit days, one day was 11.25%, the other day was 7.5% by weight. So it's some varying numbers, but they're trying. I think we can do much, much better, but they're still trying.
Anybody got any other questions you need to ask me? If not, take a motion to approve the report.
motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a safe and happy Christmas.
You too.
Doug, you next. Planning.
Evening, Commissioners. Hope everybody's doing well today. Scoot this bad boy down here. First thing we have for your consideration tonight is the lot inventory. Without going into a whole lot of details, the back of the second page kind of gets you the nitty-gritty of everything that I talk about. Total available lots is 945 compared to this time last year. That's down from 1,108. That's even down from last month, about 10. We did have one major plat, about 10 lots that was recorded last month. kind of a slow month as far as plat recordings was concerned. That being said, this is typically our slower time of year, just because of the holidays and everything, and the weather starting to not be as good for that kind of industry. So in the springtime is when we usually start seeing a pickup in that. But if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them on that. If not, we'll go ahead and go into the rezoning for the month. We actually had 2 rezoning requests last month, but one of them was recommended denied and was later pulled by the applicant, so I won't really go into that. That's the Jerry LaQuire. It was for a piece of property on Franklin Road. They were looking to rezone the property to office professional. After consideration, the Planning Commission just didn't feel that was an appropriate location for that zone, recommended denial. After speaking with the applicant on the phone after the meeting, they basically said their intent was just to withdraw the application, so that won't be coming to you today, or next week, excuse me. The other application, however, was recommended approval by a unanimous vote. It's for property along Shelbyville Highway. This is the location of the Davenport Station planned residential development, which was originally approved back in August of 2007 under our older planned development regulations. The original development was to consist of 353 single-family dwellings, along with 132 townhome dwellings, and also some commercial lots. Preliminary plat was approved for the first section of that, and some final plats as well. However, nothing's ever been constructed on the property. It's just been extended since that time. So what the applicant's wanting to do, the previous owner sold the property, and the current applicant is looking to rezone a portion of the property to change the development essentially by removing some of the townhomes. They're going to remove 92 townhomes and replace them with single-family units, and that's for a total reduction of 44 units. Now, on your iPads, I actually put in the whole booklet, the pattern book that they had for this development. And if you go to page, let's see which page that is here. Page 1 kind of gives you just an overview of the development. They're not looking at the entire development. The area that was approved is Section 1 with the preliminary plat and the final plats is outside of the scope of this rezoning. They're actually asking for rezoning of the remaining portion of the property, which included, again, the single-family area, removal of the townhome units, the step area, and then the open space. This does meet the criteria, the new criteria that we have under our plan development regulations for open space as well. But essentially, most of the conversation that we had at the Planning Commission really involved the, let's see if I turn it a little better. There we go. The intersection of Rucker Road and 231. The original approval stated that there needed to be a traffic signal installed at that location of Rucker Road and Shelbyville Highway within 3 years. Of course, the development really never got off the ground, so we never required them to put the light in. After discussion at the Planning Commission meeting with the applicant, the Planning Commission kind of went back and forth on this a little bit, but ultimately what was decided was that, and this has been included in the revised pattern book, is that the applicant would complete a revised traffic study. They did submit a traffic study originally with this, but since they're changing it, we asked for a revised one to evaluate traffic signal warrant at the intersection of Rucker Road and Shelbyville Highway. Once that report is complete and agreed upon by the county's planning and engineering staff, along with the applicant's traffic engineer, and the report states that it does warrant a traffic signal, developers will post a bond in the agreed upon amount for the traffic signal installation, along with all the other improvements like lane additions and those kind of things that go kind of hand in hand with that. And this bond would be required to be in place prior to the approval or releasing Davenport Station Section 1 for recording, the area that's outside of this. But we want to have that bond in place before the development takes off. So that was agreed upon by the applicant and their design engineer and staff. So ultimately, there was only a couple people that spoke at the public hearing. One of them was a neighboring property owner that seemed okay with the development. The other was a lady that lived in the subdivision to the north that was just concerned about the connection at Oak Meadow Drive and how that was going to affect the flow of that subdivision. That is a later connection that's not made. That's not going to be made right now. So eventually it will, but currently that's not the first access. It'll actually be the one. There's 3 access points there. It should be the one in the middle. Rucker Road will be at a later time as well. So with that, again, the Planning Commission did recommend approval unanimously, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Joe, do you recollect what the prior name in that subdivision was?
It was always Davenport Station.
That's all
Yes, sir.
it is.
Yeah, that didn't change.
I got any questions you need to ask Doug about his report or subdivision here too they're talking about?
Did Commissioner Farley, nobody called you about this? They
Oh,
couldn't go to the meeting
I met with the
or?
engineers and.
Okay.
And I don't have a problem with it. It's less dense than what it was, you know, before.
First, yeah.
It's a good plan in my opinion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second approved. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Next item is Highway Department. Only thing they had this month was approve new road book and drainage easement at their meeting. That's only 2 items on the agenda. You got a copy of the road book and the drainage easement book, so you guys got any questions? Not?
Motion to approve.
Second. Got a very nice book.
Motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anybody got any other business you wanna bring up?
I said the next meeting's what, January the 6th?
I
Is that
hadn't
correct?
even looked that far ahead, to tell you the truth. It'd be the first Tuesday.
Seven.
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 January the 7th.
Yeah, I looked at the day off.
Anyone got any other business? Not, I'll move with adjourn.